just got into town, I admitted. Then, as if this would explain everything, I added, I'm from Ohio. If you don't mind my asking, what do you need to see Schwartz about? Connolly collapsed onto a wicker love seat, his head buried in his hands. I've got a problem because of my own big mouth. Politics, religion, and alcohol, they should never be mixed.
Last year, the Infidel reported on an incident in Myanmar where local Buddhists turned violently against Muslim refugees who had been living in a makeshift ghetto in their community. They killed several Muslims and forced hundreds of others to flee for their lives as their village was burned to the ground. But the official count brings up those numbers and now stipulate that 110 were killed and as many as 120,000 were left homeless in that incident. Periodic violent episodes have continued, and President Thein Sein, who had tried to implement democratic reforms in his nation which had been under military rule for nearly half a century, has now had to implement a crackdown. An emergency law bans public assemblies, marches, and speeches, and imposes a dusk-to-dawn curfew in the 3 communities where most of the anti-Muslim violence has occurred. As many as 40 people had been killed in one regional flare-up in Mektila. It was reportedly precipitated by an argument between a Muslim goldsmith and a Buddhist couple. Kin Maya, a 52-year-old merchant, is quoted as saying, "I think I'm safe now and can reopen my shop because of soldiers guarding the town." Despite the fact that Toronto's Masonic Temple has been used for events other than a meeting place for Masons, an ancient and semi-secret fraternal sect, the words Masonic Temple remains written large on the front of the building. Built in 1918, the temple is under the protection of the Heritage Preservation Services, which determines if and how the building can be altered. The building, which has not been used by Masons for almost 20 years and is now owned by Bell Media, is for sale, and the Masons would like to strike a deal with the new owner. The Masons have offered to lend their expertise in redeveloping the facility to meet the heritage rules in exchange for use of the upper floor meeting rooms. The building is filled with history and the memory of Masonic rituals. A new generation of Masons is interested in taking advantage of the temple's history as a place to perform its traditional rituals. Stefano Emilio, who joined the Masons in 2008, is particularly enthusiastic. To perform these beautiful rituals in Freemasonry in a place with so much history, it just makes it 10 times more powerful. Any which way to get us back in there, I'd be happy with. On February 19, 2013, the Government of Canada officially opened its Office of Religious Freedom and appointed Andrew Bennett, who is described as a scholar, religious leader, and public servant, as its religious ambassador. Ambassador Bennett emphasizes that this focus is on foreign policy, not domestic. On March 6, Bennett announced that he will be visiting the generally forbidden countries suffering from lack of religious freedom and lack of freedom of conscience. Included among the forbidden countries are China, Iran, or Pakistan. The mention of lack of freedom of conscience is new and may indicate that Bennett and the Office of Religious Freedom may defend those persecuted for not following any religion.